Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we'll be discussing a 1951 Oscar-winning film, An American in Paris, starring Gene Kelly and Leslie Caron. But this movie is one of the pinnacles of the MGM movie musicals, and of course, this one also was nominated for 8 Academy Awards and won 6 of them, including for Best Picture. And unfortunately, Gene Kelly didn't win. I don't think he was even nominated for Best Actor for this role, which he should have won. But he won for the choreography of the film, so he got some recognition for it. Because this movie is one of those typical Gene Kelly musicals, so they're going to explain why. But the movie's in 1951 in Paris. That's after, of course, a few years after World War II. And Gene Kelly plays a former GI who came in to liberate France from the Nazis. And he decided to stay there. Excuse me. He decided to stay in Paris. And he decided to go to school and become a painter. And he tried to sell his paintings for money. Well, he got this one woman who was willing to sponsor him and try and get him to do a show in an art gallery in Paris. And while this was going on, Gene Kelly meets and falls in love with Leslie Caron, who at this time, it was in her first movie role. She was only about 20 years old at the time this movie came out. So she was quite young, and in fact she was prettier in this movie than she was in the other movie that she's most famous for, and that's being in Gigi, which came out 7 years later. But this one, in that time, she wasn't even a known singer. She was more known for dancing and acting than singing. Well, she learned how to sing by the time she did Gigi in the 7 years after American in Paris. But for this one, all the singing has been done or were done by the men in the film, including, of course, Gene Kelly. And most of the songs were written by George Gershwin, and maybe a little help from Irving Berlin as well. Was also involved with writing the music for this film. And of course, you have Gene Kelly doing dance with the kids, saying "I've got rhythm." He does that. They incorporated a lot of Ira Gershwin songs into this musical, which was really rare at the time. Because usually for musicals, you write original stuff for the movie, or if the movie is based on a Broadway show, they might add like 1 or 2 original songs for the film version, so it would not get nominated at the Oscars for Best Original Song. Because if it's based on a Broadway musical, if it's all the songs from the Broadway musical, it's not original. So they have not original songs, so they put 1 or 2 songs in there, so you get nominated for the Oscar for original song. But for American in Paris, all the songs have already been out there and it's been established already for the movie, and just put them into this film. And Gene Kelly did the choreography for the dancing for those particular sequences, and he did a marvelous job. I mean, you can get. I don't know if Fred Astaire ever did any choreography in his movies. They did all those movies he did with Ginger Rogers, but Gene Kelly did everything. He was involved with everything in terms of dance on film. He's one of the guys. Gene Kelly was one of the guys, other than maybe Fred Astaire, to promote dancing on film, and he did terrific work on here. And of course, he did all the choreography himself. So it tells you how terrific a choreographer Gene Kelly is, and just dancing on screen, because he also has to direct all the sequences for the dancing sequences. And that's why you had a lot of those sequences in this film, with him, dancing and singing and stuff. And Leslie Caron, like I said earlier, she was more known as a dancer, so he put her in there, and in the sequences, and she was also very terrific as well. even though she never sang in the film. She did a great job in this film as well. But of course, like I said, this is one of the few musicals that actually, I think there's about maybe 5 musicals total that's ever won the Oscar for Best Picture. Of course, American Paris, you have Gigi, you have My Fair Lady, you have Sound of Music, you have Oliver, and of course the sixth one and last last musical ever to win an Oscar for Best Picture, and that was Chicago. So really, it's only maybe at least 6 films I can name on the top of my head that have won an Oscar for Best Picture. And this is like one of the first ones that did so. And to see a particular, other than drama, musicals are the only really movie genre that's ever won Oscars for Best Picture. Comedy's never won an Oscar. If you want to hear the statistics, comedy has never won an Oscar in the Academy Awards for Best Picture. Never. But for American Paris, I thought it was terrific that all these sequences, all the songs was in it. I mean, you don't have songs like this anymore. You just don't. And you really had to take someone with Gene Kelly's talent to make these songs work, and to do a dance sequence that fits the songs. And I can't praise the guy enough. I mean, I really can't. Of course, the one problem they have with this movie, there's only one real problem they have with this movie, and that is, and it happens in old Gene Kelly musicals. You have a dance sequence, a very long, overly long, slow dance sequence, and it's called the American Paris Ballet, and it took 17 minutes of film time in this movie. Of course, when I should get to the actual plot before they had the before I criticize the long dance sequence in the film, like I said, when Gene Kelly meets Nancy Caron, it's like love at first sight, and Nancy Caron starts to have feelings for Gene Kelly in Gene Kelly's character in this film, who was a painter. Like I said earlier, he's a painter in Paris, and even though he has a woman sponsoring him who kind of has a crush on him, he's not really that interested in her. He's interested in maybe her sponsoring him. He was interested in that, but he was not interested in having a romantic relationship with this woman. He really wasn't, because she wasn't really his type. She was just because he knew that this other woman was interested in him and maybe having a future with him, and not so much as sponsoring him. He just wants her to sponsor him, and that Gene Kelly wants her to sponsor him, but not for sex, for love or anything like that. He just wants her to sponsor him, so maybe you can get into an art gallery or something. Because Gene Kelly was interested in Leslie Caron, and he finds out, Gene Kelly finds out that Leslie Caron's character was actually engaged to somebody. And you find out her backstory a little bit, and then her character was a refugee from World War II, and her fiance's family protected her from the war. Her parents were killed, and Leslie Caron's fiance's family protected her, and actually, of course, she kind of like owes it to him, and kind of fell in love, in a way, fell in love with him because of what he did. He sacrificed his life for her, so she felt like she owes him something, and so that's why she fell in love and decided to become engaged. Well, and of course that really broke Gene Kelly's heart, and they had this party, and she leaves with the fiance, and it finds out when the fiance overhears Leslie Caron's fiance overhears the conversation that Leslie Caron had with Gene Kelly, saying, "Hey, I still love you, still have these feelings for you," and all this stuff, and the fiance heard it, and so they leave, go in the taxi and they leave, and that's when you have this very long 17-minute dance sequence. And there's always the same thing that bothers me watching a Gene Kelly musical. I mean, it happened in Singing in the Rain, it happened On the Town. There's the other two musicals that I've seen Gene Kelly in, where you have these very, very, very long dance sequences, and to watch the dance sequence, I don't mind watching him doing a dance sequence, but if it's like a couple of minutes long, fine. Like if it's less than 5 minutes, it's tolerable. But if you sit there and it takes 17 minutes of time in the movie, that's just under two. That's about 2 hours. If you take 17 minutes, you have just about an hour and 45 minutes of storyline, and you spend 17 minutes of a 2-hour movie just for this dance sequence. It costs about at least $1 million, right? I found out. It's just too long. I'm sorry, it's just too long of a sequence. It's a great sequence to watch. It's always great to watch Leslie Caron and Gene Kelly dancing. But that thing just took way too long of a sequence. I mean, it was so long I had to fast forward through that sequence. That's how long it is. I mean, you sit there, you watch for 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes, and like, God, how long is this damn thing? And then you fast forward and you realize it's a 17-minute dance sequence. And then as soon as this dance sequence ends, you see Leslie Caron come back to the party when Gene Kelly was at, and then he said, "Oh, we broke off the engagement," and Gene Kelly gets to go at the end of the film, and that's how it ends. You have the 17-minute dance sequence, and then you have Leslie Caron come back to Gene Kelly, and they kiss at the end, and that's how the movie ends. Really, I mean, like, this movie could have been over 10 minutes earlier if it didn't have that long, overly long dance sequence. Now, I don't know anything wrong with the dance sequence, but if it's 17 minutes long, that's too much. I mean, it is. It's too much, and they always have this like long dance sequence for Gene Kelly in these musicals. But as the movie itself, I mean, it isn't an Oscar-winning film. It is one of the most memorable musical films of all time. And if you haven't been a Gene Kelly fan, I suggest you check this one out. And that's, of course, the anime review for An American in Paris. Please check on the video. Please rate it. Feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at realityc.com. That's all WDY, and C.com. There's a homepage to the Reality Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.